Welcome, everybody. It's been a great week. I got my Spindrift in hand, and I'm ready to record. We're going to talk about last week's matchups. Why don't we get right into it? Huh? Let's see. Starting with... Wait for the screen to pop up. Anytime now. Here we go. All right. So, first matchup of the week, we had the battle of the commissioner versus the co-commissioner. And the commissioner always wins, baby. Let's go. Cooled off Eric's hot streak. Took him down. I moved to 3 and 5. Still in ninth place. Eric's surprisingly had a 4-4 record. He was hot for a little bit. I had to come and cool him down. Kevin Jakeway destroyed Dave, who's currently in first place. He needed to be put in his place, which Kevin did. 305, won the most points for the week. Congrats. Next matchup, we had Jimmy versus Spoondog. Jimmy coming on strong, getting that dub. 271, put up some good points, and Spooner still struggling. I have faith, though. I have faith. Yeah, 2 and 6. You could be worse, right? You could be Ben. Next, we have Tom versus Brad. Brad gets a win. Finally gets his second win of the season, 256 to 210. Tom had some great memes about losing to last place. Those were hilarious. We had a surprisingly close matchup against Nick and Ben. Nick took that win. He came through. He did his job for us. Thank you, Nick. 287 to 262. Last but not least, this was a close matchup between Chris and Sean. Chris won 238 to 230. Now, we scroll down, we look at the current standings. Dave's still in first place. It's kind of a three-way tie for first, but Dave wins. He's currently in first because he's got the most points for. A couple teams, at 6 and 2. We got Kevin standing alone at 5 and 3. We got 4 teams sitting at 4 and 4 with a 500 record here. Then you got me alone in 9th at 3 and 5. And then you got the last place losers at 2 and 6. You got Ben, who has $0 FAAB left, and you got Brad with $100 FAAB left. Maybe if we were into trading FAAB, Ben could hit up Brad for a couple of bucks. Maybe he could spend another 50 on a defense or something. It could help him win. We don't know. We'll see. All right, we're going to take a dive into the week 9 matchups. They're here. They're ready. They'll be here before we know it. Don't eat too much candy on Halloween, boys, because the first game of the week, we got the Houston Texans and the New York Jets. I have CJ Stroud on Thursday night. Funny thing is, I'm also playing Nick in Dynasty, and he's looking strong. He has CJ Stroud as his quarterback. So it's like, oh no, do we want him to do well? Does Nick want him to do well or not, or what? We don't know. So Jamar Chase should have a nice game against the Las Vegas Raiders. If Higgins is back, I can expect a bigger game from him too. I got the Stroud and Dell connection with Diggs and Nico Collins still being out. Tank Dell is looking like a lonely option to throw to in Houston. Cooper Kupp, back from injury, had a okay week last week, catching a touchdown. Looking for him to get back on track. Montgomery and Achane, 2 touchdown scoring machines, should help me score some points this week. And Kincaid finally seeing some more targets from Josh Allen now that Amari Cooper is in Buffalo. Flex, that's going to be a question mark. I'm not sure who I'm starting. As of now, I have Javonte Williams in at my flex. Moving over to Nick, Baker Mayfield lost all of his weapons going up against a tough defense in Kansas City. Tough to score points on them, especially when you don't have a lot of weapons to throw to. McLaurin, he is Jaden Daniels' number one target, going up against a poor New York Giants secondary. Justin Jefferson, like I said, Nick has Stroud in Dynasty. I've got Jefferson in Dynasty. It's one of those like, oh boy, do I want him to do well? He can have an okay game. 60 yards, touchdown, I'd be happy. Metcalf still on the injury report. Not sure if his knee is going to hold up or not for him to get in. Jones and Cook, two solid running backs for him. Match up well against my running backs, Montgomery and Achane. Njoku, I'm going to give the dub to him at the tight end position. Njoku is looking like a stud. He's looking like tight end one of the year, I think. But he's also playing two Cleveland Browns. Nick Chubb, a lot of the Chargers are a tough run defense. So yeah, we'll see. Projections as of now, yeah, Nick's got me by about 10 points or so, 11 points. But I'm going to give my dub to myself. I feel like Mayfield is going to have a very poor game. Metcalf's not going to play, so he's going to have to reach for another starter somewhere. And I just think my team's going to stay solid. Not do amazing, but that's solid. 230, 240. Those are my points I'm going to get, which will lead me to victory over Nicholas. All right, moving on to the next game. We got Kevin Jakeway and Tom Admiral Dakbar. Any given Jakeway. All right. So Kevin's looking like a stud. Last week had most points for a 305 game, which was awesome. All of his studs, he's got them all. I think he may have a couple players on bye. He does. Half of his team's on bye because half of his team is the San Francisco 49ers. But I think, Jonnu Smith from Miami actually has been surprisingly getting a lot of looks. He's got his two stud running backs and Bijan and Kyron. Pittman, I think, is now going to be an upgrade with Flacco at quarterback. Flacco is going to be that precision passer. Pittman and Downs are both going to be solid pickups and starts, for the foreseeable future. Obviously, St. Brown and Lamb just studs at their position. Goff against Green Bay. It's tough for me to say that Goff's going to have a great game because I'm a Packer fan, but I can foresee him just going off, just like last year. Lions had their number the first game of the season last year, and Goff could have an awesome game. Flex, we got Ramondre Stevenson, who had a great game last week too. Tennessee does have a stingy run defense, but gave up a lot on the ground to the Lions last week. Moving over to Tom's team, Dak Prescott. He needs to get his stuff together. And, he needs to throw some touchdowns to someone other than CeeDee Lamb if he wants to have a chance at beating Kevin. DJ Moore, him and Caleb Williams are finally starting to get locked in together. McConkey, oh boy, he had a game last week, didn't he? He's looking like a stud for the Chargers. Deontay Johnson, we'll see if he's going to be able to get into the rotation this week since he was just recently traded to the Baltimore Ravens. Kareem Hunt getting the bulk of the carries for Kansas City. Rico Dowdle, hopefully he's feeling a little bit better from his flu or whatever sickness he had. Because he's definitely the better running back between Zeke and Dalvin Cook. Trey McBride, great tight end. Great to start against Chicago. Should be a good target for Kyler Murray. Dontavian Wicks, I still have a soft spot for him. I think he's a great player. Just needs to get his chances. So, the Detroit, the Lions do give up some good points to the wide receiver position. So we could see Wicks maybe have a touchdown. Let's see. But I'm giving this win to Kevin. It's just going to be too much to overcome all of his studs at his position. So easy win for Kevin. Tom, you'll just stick to making memes, buddy. Stick to making memes. Next, we're moving on to Eric at 4-4 and Dave at first place at 6-2. Eric's going to continue his cold streak, unfortunately. I'm giving the win to Dave, but we'll do a quick rundown of Eric's team. Jordan Love, questionable to play. And if he doesn't play against the Lions, I believe Eric's second quarterback is on bye, Brock Purdy. Do we have his third? Yes, we do, Matt Stafford. So he does have a backup quarterback to put in if Love is out. Which Stafford does have a good matchup against Seattle. I think having Puka and Cooper Kupp back together, Stafford could be a streamable option every week, depending on matchups and stuff. Tyreek Hill finally gets Tua back. He's doing awesome. Just needs a couple long bombs, and one play could make the week for him. So Drake London getting peppered with targets from Kirk Cousins. Against Dallas's, 14th fewest fantasy points to wide receivers. I can see London have a great game too. Higgins still questionable on the week. Not sure if he's going to make it in or not. If he does, great. I think he's going to have a monster game if he does play. Rachaad White going up against Kansas City, not a favorable matchup. Mostert splitting carries between him and Achane. Kraft got the two Packers, Kraft and Dobbs. So stacking with Love. So Eric definitely wants Love to play because I think that really boosts Kraft and Dobbs' chances. Moving on over to Dave, Kyler Murray against Chicago. It's a home game, and I think the Cardinals are finally getting some stuff together. Finally realized that he's got a stud at wide receiver to throw to, Marvin Harrison, and that's what Kyler Murray should do. Brian Thomas Jr. left with an injury last week, questionable to play this week. Dave will have to keep a lookout to see if he's in the lineup or not. Neighbors, he's got the two rookies here starting. Neighbors is going up against Washington again, which Washington, his defense is just subpar. I think Neighbors is one of those talents that could just doesn't matter who he's playing. I think he can get open. I think he can make plays as long as they throw the ball in his direction. So Darnell Mooney. So we got Darnell Mooney for Atlanta, and then Eric's got Drake London for Atlanta. Well, just wanted to toss up to see which one's going to get that touchdown for the week. Dave's two running backs, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara. Mixon's going to have a tough road ahead playing the Jets, who do have a pretty good run defense. Kamara, though, on the other hand, if the game plan for New Orleans has to be just get him the ball, whether it's outside runs, inside runs, screens, lining them out wide. Just get Kamara the ball. Brock Bowers, the chosen one for the tight ends, along with Jacoby Myers, is the only lone target for the Las Vegas Raiders. Minshew just needs to just get him the ball. Jalen Waddle, if we got another wide receiver duo here, we got Jalen Waddle for Dave, Tyreek Hill for Eric, and Eric's got the one up on him on both of those. He's got the wide receiver ones for those teams, and Dave has the wide receiver twos. And with that said, because of that, this win's going to Eric. I cooled him off last week, but he's going to take that flint, get that fire going. He's going to rekindle it, baby. Rise from the ashes like a phoenix. Eric. Giving this win to Eric. Moving on. Jimmy versus Sean. Jimmy's doing great. I like Jimmy's team. We may not have said that earlier in the season, but I like his team now. And we got Sean. Let's take a look. Lamar Jackson finally faces a defense in Denver. Christian Watson usually has Detroit's number. He's caught a couple touchdowns and long bombs against Detroit a couple times. Adams going against a Houston defense that Does give up some points to the wide receiver position. Sean's starting one of the many low-key Tampa Bay wide receivers. Again, Kansas City, not a great defense to go up against. We got Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins for the running back position, and then Evan Ingram for the tight end. Like in the flex, you can run on New England. Tony Pollard could have a big game. Moving over to Jimmy. Joe Burrow looks like he's got an easy road for a couple touchdown passes, which could bolster Jimmy's chances here. Garrett Wilson. Again, we got these wide receiver ones, wide receivers two going up against each other. Devontae Adams for Sean, Garrett Wilson for Jimmy. Again, I believe this is the get right game for the New York Jets. I'm gonna just go on a whim here and say it's gonna be a shootout tomorrow night. So I think Devontae and Garrett Wilson are both a good play, and also any Houston. Well, not all of Houston players. I think Joe Mixon, Schultz, and Dell are going to be the only three players that do anything for Houston. But we'll see. Shakir had a great game last week, and you can assume that Jalen Ramsey for Miami is going to be lining up with Amari Cooper. I think Shakir can find his way to the end zone this week. Jacoby Myers, he's going to get a lot of targets. Going to get a lot of catches. Barkley Swift, great running back duo for Jimmy. I love Kelsey this week going on a Monday night. It's always fun to have having the only players to go on Monday night. Well, you got Sean's got Jalen McMillan, which doesn't count really. I don't foresee him doing much, but I could see Jimmy coming to win this game on Monday night due to Kelsey and maybe Tampa Bay's kicker can kick a field goal or two. But yeah, Kelsey wins it on Monday night for Jimmy. All right, moving on to the fifth game of the week. Oof. Wow. 2-6, Ben, Puka Puka, and Shake and Bake Chris at 6-2. What is there to talk about? Other than Chris is going to give Ben his third win of the season. Yes, you said it. You heard it here first. We don't like Ben winning. No one does. But he has to at some point. He's optimizing his roster. He's got Brown back. He's got Puka back, and they are looking really good. Josh Downs, start him. As long as Flacco is in the lineup at QB, start Josh Downs. James Conner, just a running machine. He's a stud. Bucky Irving, definitely the running back to have in Tampa Bay if you want one. Though going up against Kansas City, not the greatest, but I still think he'll gain some moderate yardage. Cade Otton, with the wide receivers for Tampa Bay being injured, he has been the go-to for Baker Mayfield recently. Xavier Worthy, all he needs is one play to hit. Moving over to Chris, we got Patrick Mahomes, who hasn't been himself lately. I mean, they've been winning games mainly on defense and also running the ball, and the refs helping them out too. Next, we got Zay Flowers. You got Deontay Johnson now with Baltimore, so more target competition for Zay Flowers. Also, Rashad Bateman coming on strong lately too. Zay Flowers won't get as many targets as earlier this season. Devontae Smith, smart start for Chris. Obviously, with Jalen Hurts, with Ben playing Hurts at quarterback. We won't talk about Sutton. Just an okay play. Baltimore does have not the greatest secondary. They give up the second most fantasy points to the wide receiver position. We got Derrick Henry going up against Denver's D, which is a tough D to run on. Let's see, they give up the 9th fewest fantasy points to the running back position. Chuba Hubbard, Jonathan Brooks may or may not play this week. If he does, then again, that's going to steal a couple touches from Chuba Hubbard this week. Ferguson against Atlanta. We got Jonathan Taylor, who's back from injury, against Minnesota. Oof. And like I said, Ben's taking this one. It's going to be a close one. But I think that Monday night, it's going to come down to Monday night, boys. You got Patrick Mahomes for Chris. You got Harrison Butker for Chris. And then you got Xavier Worthy, Kadon, and Bucky Irving for Ben. And I think it's going to come down to Monday night. It'll be fun to watch. We'll be listening to or watching Ben just Snapchat all day long, just boop, 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 just typing, oh, no, bad throw, oh, whatever. But he's going to get the win. And he's going to use his good game at some point. Sunday evening, Sunday night, a good game, Chris, good win. And then he's going to come back. Just like he's just a sucker. Last game we're going to review. Oh, man, barn burner. 2-6 Spoondog in 11th place, going up against 2-6 Triple Dragon in 12th place. Who wants it? Who wants it more? Given this win to Spoondog, I think Sam Darnold's going to have a great game this week. Hopefully most of those to Justin Jefferson, maybe TJ Hawkinson. We'll see. He's got some good wide receivers in his roster. Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, I think, are going to be the name of his game, who are going to score the most points for him this week, and ultimately that'll do it. Because I believe, Brad's going to put up maybe a less than 200-yard performance this week. So he's got a couple Detroit players going up against Green Bay. Josh Allen, he's going to have to do it all himself. Calvin Ridley, he had a great game last week. His only good game of the season so far. We'll see if Kyler Murray can continue to target Marvin Harrison Jr. No contest. Spoondog's going to get this dub. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's matchup previews and my predictions for the week. So what do you guys want to see next? Maybe a mystery prize? How about that? I believe Nick won mystery prize this past week with Baker Mayfield throwing about over 300 yards, I think. He had him in his starting quarterback position. And your week 9 mystery prize is, let's see, the quarterback with the most completions. Insert innuendo joke there. All right. Chris would be upset if I didn't mention him winning the Pick'em prize. So, yeah, Chris won Pick'em last week. He got an extra 10 buckaroos. So that'll do it for this week's podcast, boys. Have a great week 9. Hopefully you win all your matchups and win all your bets, and DK, your DK balance goes up from winning everything. And that'll do it. Have a great week, boys. Peace.